Hello, everyone. Welcome back to E20 Zone TV. Hope everyone's all well on this Thursday sunshine. To my right is Jay, and we're here to talk about the shenanigans. What is going on at West Ham currently right now? Smash a like on the video, subscribe to the channel, all that malarkey. Jay, how are you doing?
I'm good, man. I'm good. It's been a short week. I'm off for a golf trip tomorrow. My biannual 3 days of hacking my way around a golf course. So happy the week is done for me. But lots to talk about on the West Ham front today. How are you, mate?
I'm just getting fucked off with it, mate. If I'm being truthfully honest, I'll be straight down the line with it, as I always am. I'm just getting pissed off with it. I'm getting pissed off with people impersonating being West Ham fans coming on this channel. I'm getting pissed off with West Ham's transfer sort of links. Like Dominic Calvin-Lewin ain't going away. Mark my words on that. That one is not going away. I'm seeing people saying about bringing Vardy to the club. What have we become? What the fuck have we become? I don't know where to start. Let's start off with Edson Alvarez. What do you make of that the other day?
Yeah, so anyone who's not been across this, it seems he had another fallout with Graham Potter prior to the Southampton game. And apparently it's when he found out he was going to be a sub. He found out through someone that wasn't the manager. And and then he's thrown his toys out the pram and he might never play for West Ham again. So I think this is nothing new. I think we've seen this. This is the third manager in 12 months. So which is something I said to you in our group chat with a few more choice words included. And like, it's not to be surprised. He's got bad temperament. He's got bad mentality. Like, yeah, it won't be missed on the way out is what I'd say, mate. What are you saying?
I'm disappointed in this one because he's a Champions League player, isn't he? Apparently. And he wants out. I've even seen links to Tottenham. And that would literally take the piss out of us if he goes there. Do you know what I'm saying? He hasn't been good for us, granted, but has anyone been good? That's the problem. Has anyone been good this season? Probably Wan-Bissaka, Bowen, and that's about it, if I'm being truthfully honest. Everyone else has been crap. I've seen so much crap over the last 24 hours in regards of like this major sort of rebuild, which I say it every day. I'm shit scared over, Joe. I'm going to be honest. Like, I look at it and I think you've got to get every single transfer bang on. I'm seeing us shopping in the Championship market where I don't mind that, but 1 is okay, 2 is okay. 4, 5, 6 Championship players, we end up becoming a Championship side. And do you know what I'm saying? What are you saying about these Championship links?
You got like with anything, you got to balance, haven't you? You're 100% right. Like if we end up signing 3-4 players from, like, let's say we take a couple from Sunderland, a couple from Middlesbrough, just as 2 clubs that have got some reasonable players, and they end up all walking into our first team. Like, what have we become? If we like the same as when we were linked to like 4 Southampton players, the Southampton team that are statistically level with the worst team that's ever been in the Premier League. Like, what does that say about West Ham? The only thing I'll take a bit of solace from is there's nothing new coming out. And we briefly touched on this like just before we went live, but there's nothing that we don't already know, which is a good thing from where I see it. It could be that the board shills that are putting stories out running out of stories and are just trying to stay relevant. They're trying to keep stories out there.
It's how it feels. I'm going to be honest.
It does, doesn't it? It does. You talk about Dominic Calvert-Lewin. We were horrified at that link when it first came out, but like the same with Callum Wilson is a name that gets thrown around occasionally by certain people. And I don't see any substance in it. It would make absolutely zero sense for West Ham to go and sign someone like that. So I think you got to take the rough with a smooth. I think if we talk about hypotheticals, I'll be happy with 1, maybe 2 from the Championship. You look at what Jared Bowen's done for us. Proves that there are some gems down there. But any more than that, and I'd be a bit worried.
What do you make of this bid? Because I see someone put a comment now. I see it the other day where people have turned around and said that we're skint, apparently, and we've got to sell before we can buy. But let's all go back to the January window. Let's all go back to the middle of January, where we put a £57 million bid in for John Duran. What's happened? What's happened there?
I mean, that money never existed anyway, did it? Like let's be honest. Yeah. That bid was just David Sullivan doing a David Sullivan and trying to look like he's a big time player and trying to just shit out something and then if we'd have got that accepted, it would have been his worst nightmare, and I guarantee that deal would never have gone through. So we never had that money to spend in January. Hence, we ended up with Evan Ferguson on loan, which you could see a mile off. We were never going to go and buy somebody. We were only ever going to go cheap in January, which kind of makes sense, I suppose. But I don't believe the stories of us being absolutely skint. Yeah, we've got to operate a bit more carefully in terms of we don't have European football. There is a 3-year PSR thing that we've not had European football for the first year in a long time. So you have to be careful, but you look at the players that are out of contract, that's 350 grand a week worth of wages that's been freed up. You look at the players that we could then sell, like I'm sure we'll talk about Kudus in a moment as well. I'm sure we'll talk about Paqueta. If those two go, that's £500,000 a week of wages and more off your books. Like I don't really understand where this narrative of us being skint comes from, other than trying to just put a bit of a smokescreen up and trying to tell clubs that we ain't got tons of money. Like, we'll make you an offer and take it seriously. And hopefully, it's a bit of psychology. But
the only thing I will say though to that is that, don't you think it's a lot to do in one window?
It's loads.
It's
so much to do.
It's so much to do, isn't it? And that's not even like. Obviously, the midfield is the key area, like, because we are so light in midfield. Don't get me wrong, we are, but it's a collective. It's defence. Like, we've got 2 defenders there. One of them who can't keep fit, and one of them who can't play in the back 4. Like in Gilman, like, there's so many sort of square pegs in round holes, and this is going to take a good few years to sort out. Now, I see people the other day blaming Moyes for it, and I was thinking, well, Moyes didn't have 150 million the summer previous, and this is a fuck up from Sullivan. This is more Sullivan than anyone, because Sullivan's gone out, he's picked up Otegi, he's given the fucking reins to Tim Steidten, and anyone who was backing Tim Steidten to change the game for us, I pity you. I simply do, because he was never going to change the game. He was never going to be in fucking control in the first place, right? So when people used to go on that bandwagon, I used to feel like smash me up against the brick wall. I look at this summer. I'm going to say it openly right now. It's the biggest summer in the history of West Ham. This one. No, and I'm being brutally honest. People say, "Oh, you say it every year." Say it every year. This summer's the one. This one is the one where it's got to be 10 out of 10, not 8, not 7. It has to be mustard. This window, you have to go out. You have to go out and buy 5 quality-ish midfielders who all can adapt to the system. You need to go out and buy a centre forward who can change the game for West Ham, because apparently they will look at offers for Nicholas Füllkrug, apparently, which, if he goes, Antonio. Well, what do you do with Antonio? Like, there's so many issues at West Ham, and we just can't sort them all out at once, Jay.
I think it would be daft to you look at the forward line. If you've got 4 strikers and all of them might not be at the club next season, it's not good forward planning. You need at least one of them around. So I'd like to see Füllkrug stick around, but he doesn't look happy at the club either, does he? You saw it from a couple, like probably 6 weeks in, that he didn't look happy at the club. Hence, he went missing when he got injured. And this mysterious rehab he was doing in Germany, and he was just on podcasts and stuff. It was really odd. It would be daft to me to let all 4 of them go. Same with the midfield. I don't think any of them are good enough for the future for West Ham. You can't get rid of all of them. You've got to leave some people there that know what the club's like. And, if you, for example, Thomas Souček, he's obviously, how do you feel about this? Where he's obviously very high up David Moyes' priority list for Everton. I think he'd do a great job at Everton, to be honest. But would you feel okay with the kind of figure of £15 million being bandied about?
No. Because the thing is who's left. That means, and then this is the fear. Oh mate, it drives me nuts. It really does. And I don't want to go get all emotion on this Thursday, but I've seen this before. Yeah, everyone, you bring in a load of new players, right, and half of them don't get West Ham, and Thomas Souček, whether you like him or not, he gets the club, and that to me is enough. Do you know what I'm saying? When people say, "Oh, he's shit and we could do better," yeah, we can also do a lot fucking worse. Do you know what I mean? We've got Guido Rodriguez and fucking Carlos Soler, like them two, as an example. Right? And I think we need people in there who understand the club. I think what we're trying to do is a major rebuild in one window under a new manager that hasn't impressed me. I'm going to be straight. He hasn't. And we're asking him to go out and change the game completely for West Ham United. This is dangerous. This is a dangerous game we're playing. Now, if this works, it's one of the best fucking things ever. Like it's unbelievable, right? In what he does. But if it goes bad, it goes very, very bad. And next season, Leeds are coming up. They're going to be hard fucking team to knock out the league. Listen, they ain't going to go down like an Ipswich. They're going to fight to the end. Yeah. I don't know about the other two. Burnley, I think, might go straight back down. And if something come up, they're going to be a big club and all. So West Ham can't get this wrong, Jay. This is the fear I've got with Sullivan there and all. Right, who's a fucking idiot. Do you know what I mean? Like, he's another one that you've got to watch and go, are you going to get the players that Potter wants, or are you going to get the players that you want? Do you know what I mean? Are we going to have a situation, Jay, where we had last season where it was 3-3-3? I said it all the time. It was 3 of Sullivan's, 3 of Lopetegui's, and 3 of Stidens. I don't think we're going to have that anymore, but I think we're definitely Sullivan's definitely going to have his signings in there, or Salthouse's signings in there. What do you think?
Yeah, he'll have his grubby little mitts all over it, won't he? I'll be surprised if it's like this the clear split that you could see in the three sets of 3 as you mentioned.
Yeah.
The good thing is Potter's worked with this recruitment setup before. So we've got to have faith in that. It's worked really well previously for Graham Potter. So, and I think it's going to be very akin to what he did at Brighton when he first came in there, and he took them from the lower reaches of the Prem and he took them into the top half. And don't get me wrong, it wasn't glamorous. He's not a glamorous kind of manager. He's not going to play like fireworks, show-stopping football, but he knew how to build a squad and he knew how to buy cheap and sell high. So, you know, at the same time, I think we've got that to probably rest on. Also, he didn't have to work with David Sullivan at the time. So you've got that kind of mix of, I got no idea what's going to happen, mate. I hope that, to the point that you had made a moment ago, I very much hope that the players that know the club we keep hold of, not necessarily because they're the future, not necessarily because they're brilliant, but you look at the likes of Souček and Ward-Prowse and you go, right, we need 5 midfielders and not a single one of them is good enough. I would move on your Irving, Rodriguez and Paqueta, and I would keep those 2 around to be around the squads, and then I would bring in 2 quality players, and then you've improved the midfield overall. You can't do it all in one season. It's too big a job. So I'd rather have Souček and Ward-Prowse still at the club, able to mentor youngsters, being there because they enjoy being at the club and like get on with the club and can help the youngsters, etc. And then getting exciting players to replace the other ones. If we start trying to like just clear the deck and try and completely build the squad, that's where it gets dangerous. Mate.
What do you think the board are expecting from him next year?
The bar's just so low now, isn't it? Like the bar is so low.
It fucking upsets me, Jay. It really does, mate.
Yeah.
It really, it's like a dagger right in fucking there, right? Where we were so good, 6th, 7th, trophy, 9th. We've gone from now. If we get top 10, that's an achievement. And that hurts.
Is not what we used
that
to.
Really hurts.
It's not right, is it? I certainly think next season he has to improve. Because and this is why I see Lucas in the chat. Shout out to my guy. When Lucas and I have been like sort of chatting, we've not been saying that it doesn't matter this season, but we've been saying like we've got to make little improvements where we can with a group of players that just are not good enough. Next season he's got nowhere to hide, and next season if we're no wins from our first 4, he will be under so much pressure, so much pressure.
Don't you think that's dangerous though, Jay?
Mate, for me, it's more dangerous. Sorry to cut you off. It's more dangerous to sack the guy, have 2 ex-managers still on the payroll because we're still paying Lopetegui, you'd still be paying Potter, and then be handcuffed to whatever guy we have to go out and get on a free because he don't go and buy managers out of their contracts. He doesn't go and get glamorous managerial appointments. Someone who's on a free, someone who's got Premier League experience. Yeah. That's more dangerous for me.
The only thing I will say to that is, how can I put this? Do I look at Potter and think it's his fault? No, I look at Sullivan. Because Sullivan is the person that employs these managers, right? And as a fan base, last year was the perfect time to go and stake a claim. You go and get a Thomas Frank, or you go and get someone of quality. Yeah, you act like a big club. You go and get the man out the club. to go with Julian Lopetegui, and when the fan base at the start of the summer was like that with him, that tells me all I need to know straight away, because people are not on it straight away, right? So I'm getting the feel, either doing the YouTube or on X or wherever, I'm getting the feel that some people are not on board with this, right? When usually when you get a new manager in, everyone's pulling in the same direction. Do you know what I'm saying? So I blame Sullivan for that. On the sacking of him, yet again, it goes back to who was there. Potter was there, right? And it's like, it's yet again, it's not going out the best and getting the best in class. It's going out and getting who's available. Do you know what I'm saying? And that's where it irritates me with Sullivan. I see Peter Geezer today, right, defending Sullivan and saying, "Oh, look how much money that he's put into this club and all this, that, and the other." Yeah, but look how much he's been taking out this fucking club for years. Do you know what I mean? It's not like, at the end of the day, you've got a duty of care to be a supporter of West Ham United Football Club, and your job is to fucking fully like back what we're trying to do here. And what West Ham are trying to do is be a top 10 side. And I just don't see it. I just don't see where that's gone, Jake. Like a year ago, right? Let's go back 18 months ago, for instance. I know I'm going on a bit of a rant. Let's go back 18 months ago. I remember it, Christmas time. Yeah, 18 months ago. We just played Manchester United. We beat them 2-0, right? We had a few games over Christmas. Then we went to Arsenal and beat them 2-0. Yeah, and we should have beat them 3-0. West Ham were buzzing, absolutely buzzing. And it was like the feel-good factor in the club was good. The fan base was good. The team morale was good. All of a sudden, in the space of 18 months, the fan base is flat. It's deflated. It's had enough. There's people giving up their season ticket. I see shout out to Ricky on Twitter, who's give up his season ticket. He said he can't do it no more. I feel for the man. I really do. And it just feels like our expectations now are to finish mid-table, which is sad. It really is.
In it hard work when you're looking at, like, look at Liam Delap, for example, who we've got zero chance of signing in the summer. And look at him being linked with Newcastle, Nottingham Forest, like clubs that we should be. I'm not saying that we're better clubs than them, but clubs that we should be competing with. We should be up at that end of the table because that's what we're used to. Nottingham Forest are not doing anything that we haven't done in the last 4 years. We've been up there in third, fourth until the last 6 games of the season on more than one occasion. Yes, we fumbled it. We've ended up in the Europa League and in the Conference League, which has given us a amazing experience, but still. But now we're looking at clubs like that and going, we can't compete with them. There's no way that we could get a player over those clubs. And it's mate, we're in such a mess. And this is why, like I've been saying, like, just you got to lower like your expectations for the time being, because you can bring yourself in for a world of hurt, because we are such a mess in every area, behind the scenes, on the pitch, in the coaching staff, everywhere. It's a complete mess, mate. And it's difficult.
Yeah, but why have we gone like this though, Jay? What's the reason behind it? Is it so much as hiring Julian Lopetegui? Because let's have it right. A few of these signings have been good signings. Wan-Bissaka was a good signing last year. Crescencio Somerville was a good signing. I think Kilman a bad signing, a bit overpriced, but I don't think he's a bad player. So he's not a bad player. Is it so much as having one bad window?
I think it runs deeper, mate. And I think the problems, the sort of point that you noted 18 months ago, we're on top of the world. We were top of the form table after the Christmas period, the hardest period to navigate in football. Everyone's minds are elsewhere. There's fixtures left, right, and centre. We were still dealing with European football. And we were top of the form table over that period, having beaten like Arsenal, Tottenham, both of them away from home, Man U. Like we had done everything you could possibly want to do. We were 3 points off the top 4. And we were going, Jesus Christ, what an opportunity this is. We hit a bit of a bad run. And then Sullivan starts dicking around with Moyes' contract. And then the fun and games and the circus starts in the background. I think it starts from there, mate. Because the second that Moyes' contract got dicked around with, you needed to make clear what was happening as early as possible and give reasoning for it. We had Sullivan having his mitts over it. We had Steiden having his mitts over it. We had managers being spoken to like completely in broad daylight whilst David Moyes was still in the job. It was a complete farce. And he then loses respect from the players because the players don't know if he's going to be there. And we all saw it. The players switched off and we just dribbled down the table and were lucky to finish in the top half in the end. So I think it starts from there, and then you have the complete cock up of signing the manager on a free. Because you're right, that was the opportunity. If you're going to buy someone out of their contract, Thomas Frank would have been, I think, realistic at that time, given what we'd just achieved for the 4 years. And if that's the way we were so inclined, that was when you go and get him and you go and pay the money for him. But we didn't. We went for free. We gave Steiden more control, and you ended up with everyone wanting to have a piece of the pie, and just too many cooks in the kitchen.
Do you know what I think it was? And I completely and utterly agree with what you just said, word for word, because you're right. But I feel Sullivan knew that Lopetegui was going to be the manager of West Ham. Yeah, I remember speaking to people, trader mates of mine, and they were saying, James, we're in strong links with this big time, and it's only getting stronger. Like that, he's in the frame. There's no one really else, and that's why I won quite a bit of dough in backing Julian Lopetegui to be West Ham's next manager. I actually think Sullivan lined it up in a way to make sure that Steiden was the fall guy. That's what I genuinely believe. Whether or not Stein done a good job or not is irrelevant. Yeah, I just think it was always going to be set up that if this goes wrong, Sullivan's got his man in place, that it falls on him. Like if it goes wrong, it's Steiden's signings. It's look what he's done. It's his fault. We've got to get rid of him. When really the problem has always been David Sullivan, and it's a shame. It really is. And this is the one thing. Like we had our moment in the sun for a few years. We was great. Like when we had Lingard here, when we had a few other people here, we were buzzing, yeah. And it was like a joy. Like I've never seen West Ham so together, yeah. But then I see the flip side of that 18 months ago, and I remember saying it on here, and I was pleading with people, and I was literally saying, please just listen to me, yeah. Take whether you like me or not, just listen to what I'm saying to you. It always goes back to him. It goes back to him in 2014 with Big Sam when he was fucking about, and it all ended toxic there. It goes back to him with Moyes, and people say about the Moyes thing. Yeah, was it the right time to go? Was it not the right time to go? It probably was the right time to go because it took us to a standard, and if you're a big club, you need to go beyond that standard now, not stay the same. So I can understand that, but now we've had to go backwards like 3 years. I reckon this is going to take about 3 years to sort out. Yeah, there's no way we're going to get this sorted out in one window. No chance.
I wouldn't disagree with you. I think especially we had the last of the old school like British managers, because everything new school is all you want to keep possession, you want to be risk averse, but you don't want a low block, and that results in a lot of passing between your defenders and your central midfielders, a lot of aimless passing between defenders and central midfielders. That's what modern football is. The difficulty is we ain't got the quality to do it. So we're trying to implement a style of play that is the hardest style of play to implement. And what we had before was we had a guy who had built a career for playing counter-attacking football, had sculpted a squad to play that counter-attacking football, had got a bunch of players in their prime, and had made us achieve something that we never thought would be achievable. And when you start trying to undo that and start trying to implement something new and something modern, mate, there's a lot more you got to do. So I completely agree with you. It's going to take a long, long time, and we ain't gonna unpick it all in one summer. But like this is why it kind of frustrates me to the point when people are already calling for Potter to go, because ultimately I will not disagree with anyone who says he's boring. I'll not disagree with anyone who says the results ain't good enough, but you lose sight of what the overall issue is. You get rid of Potter, you put another man in, and everyone gets frustrated with him after 6 games. And that is another fall guy for David Sullivan to fall on. Now, I know David Sullivan's not playing at centre-back. David Sullivan's not like playing centre-forward, which is why I'm saying the players have to be accountable for their performances as well. It's a bit of blame from everyone for the playing performance, but there's always one root cause, mate. That is the root cause of everything.
Yeah, I completely agree. I got to get to this comment from Iggy Goes Pop. James, everyone knows that all our problems are caused by Sullivan, but he owns the club, so there's nothing that we can do about it. There is, mate. I've witnessed it firsthand in a non-league side recently, where if they don't like something, they all come out. I witnessed it with Dagenham and Redbridge over the last sort of week, where they had owners in charge, where they didn't agree with certain things that the owner was doing. And they all come out and said, if you don't sort this out, we're all walking away. And the thing is with West Ham fans, they only do it when they want something. You know what I mean? Like last year, the banner, as I always say on this channel, the banners couldn't come out quick enough for GSB when they wanted Moyes at the door. Then banners should be out all the time for Sullivan. Like I'm not being funny. Like one good window doesn't change the fact that this man took us out of our own, put us in a rented accommodation in the middle of a fucking industrial estate. Like, let's be real. Like, and we don't even own the ground. Right, our fucking training ground is still the same shithole that it was 11 years ago when he arrived. Like, I don't forget nothing with this geezer. Yeah, and I know for a fact if a better owner come in, he would be a 10 times better than Sullivan, because it's funny how Aston Villa owner goes in, spends a load of money. Look where they are. Nottingham Forest a few years ago in the Championship, and their owner in the playoff final said he wants to get them to the Champions League. It's funny, isn't it? Like, within the space of 3 years, he's nearly done it. But we can't question Sullivan because he owns the club. One thing I'm going to say, and I'll keep calm on this, is we own the club. We are the patrons of this club, and we will outlive him, and our generations will outlive forever. Why is no one not calling this one out? Like, do you know what I mean? Like, and the thing is, it's that we accept it. That's the problem. We accept it. Like, we accept the fact that when Julian Lopetegui arrived, right, no one was sitting there going, "This is outrageous. We've got to get it." Like, this is like he can't be here. We just accepted it because that's the easier thing to do. Do you know what I'm saying? So, it's sad. It really is, and it's the way it's going. And this is the fear. When I see people on different channels, and I see it on X and all, I see people saying that they're concerned about the summer. I understand it. I completely understand it, because what I've been saying for the last few weeks is that this is going to have to go smooth as silk, and if it doesn't, then where are we going to land next year? Because if, for argument's sake, Leeds, Burnley come up, which they are, just for argument's sake, Sunderland come up. Sunderland and Leeds are two big clubs, right? And they are two clubs that can really do some damage in the Premier League. And with West Ham, we're never too good not to go down, mate. Like, I've seen it so many times. Jared Bowen can't do it all on his own, and this is why Potter's going to have to perform a miracle, really, if I'm being honest. What do you make, Jay, of the Paqueta Kudus thing? Because you mentioned it earlier on. What you saying?
Yeah. Let's talk about that. So it seems that nobody at the squad is safe, and the rebuild will begin in the summer. As much as Potter didn't want to call it a rebuild in his press conference today, talk that 99% sure that Kudus will be gone in the summer because there's serious interest from Al Nassr, I think it was, to come in and bid 100 million euros for him. I'll drive him to Stansted myself, mate. I'll be happy. I'll be delighted. You get 85 million pounds for Mohamed Kudus. I'll drive him there myself, mate. No problem whatsoever. If it's a Premier League club, I probably wouldn't want to see him go to another Premier League club. But ultimately, 85 million quid is too good to turn down for a guy who's had 5 goal involvements this season. Yeah. And this is the thing. When you look at what I was trying to say the other day, which is this player have a poor mentality. They're not fighters. There's a core of the squad that will fight for the shirt. He goes missing, mate. And I don't care about where he's playing. I don't care whether he's left wing, right wing, centre mid, centre back. If you're willing to fight for the shirt, then you'd be able to see it. But he just loses his fight. You look at Paqueta, to touch on Lucas Paqueta as well, talk that Man City will revive their interest if and when he's cleared. And it seems that the club are confident he's going to be cleared. Again, they're welcome to him. Like, come and take him. Absolutely come and take him. And then you can deal with the issues that we have with Lucas Paqueta. And I love the bloke as well. When he's at his best, he's brilliant to watch. But how often is he at his best? Once every 6-7 games, if that.
How much would you didn't go for?
I think it depends, mate. I honestly think it depends. I'd like somewhere around 50 odd million, and this is where I think whatever we get for him, if he goes in the summer, especially if he goes to Man City, we just take a counter lawsuit to the Premier League. And we go, we could have sold him for 80 million a couple of years ago and you cost us that with a 2-year investigation. We want X amount of money from you. And I think that's what the Premier League are going to try and navigate before. And what is one of the reasons that it's taken quite a while to give a verdict. So, mate, if you could get a combined 130 odd million pounds for the pair of them, I think that's cracking business. Imagine we've got 130 million quid in our pocket for 2 players who have combined scored about 6 goals in open play this season.
Well, Lucas Paqueta hasn't assisted a goal all season.
There you go. 130 million for the pair of them. I'll be delighted, mate.
The only thing with Mo that upsets me a little bit is because it's been a bad season for him, but is he a bad player? No. That's the one where I'm like, that Lucas Paqueta, like, let's put it this way. This time last year, we was all hoping that he was leaving. And we was expecting him to leave, and then the court case come out, or the allegation come out about him gambling in the local Betfred, and before you know where you are, a year on, he's just declined, didn't he? Do you know what I mean? How much money do you reckon West Ham would have to spend this summer?
I honestly don't know, mate. I've got a horrible feeling that we will sell our prize assets. Look at what we did when Declan Rice left. We sold him for 100 million, 105 million quid, whatever it was. And we barely spent more than that. Like our net spend was barely more, like was barely positive. And that's the difference between us and the likes of Aston Villa and Newcastle. Would I trade our position for a season in the Champions League? Like a season in the Champions League versus a Conference League trophy. I take the Conference League trophy every day of the week. But when they started to get success, when they started to get European football, they doubled down. And they went and made big signings. They went and spent big money. And they went, you know what? If we're going to get this team up to where it could be, which is regular top six, then they needed to double down. They did it at the right time, and look at them both now. Newcastle, what are they, fourth? Aston Villa still in with a shout at Champions League football again. And that'll both of them, if they manage to finish in the top five, that's 2 in 3 seasons that they've been in the Champions League. So, like, that is the difference between us and clubs like that have ambitious owners. So, mate, I wouldn't be surprised if we sold those two. I imagine we sell one of Souček and Ward-Prowse, Guido Rodriguez, and Edson Alvarez. Emerson's like got a good chance of leaving. Let's say you get a combined 170 million for all of those players. I'd imagine we spend 170 million quid and not a penny more, to be honest. That's just the way it works.
I'll tell you what, we're going to need to spend some money, but also we're going to have to spend it on the right players. I do see some links for players, free transfers and all of that. I see a link to a Burnley player, CJ Riley, is it?
Egan Riley, yeah.
Yeah. What do you make of him? Because I have not seen anything of this kid.
I don't know enough about him, mate, but there was a few Burnley players, wasn't there? There was Josh Brownhill, who seems to be a decent player, but I don't know enough about him to say whether he's going to fix the problems that we've got. You're obviously a fan of James Trafford, but it sounds like we're not going to move Areola on, or we're going to leave him as our number one, which leaves its own problems. So yeah, mate, I don't watch enough of Burnley to get excited about any of their players. And do you know what? Like, I don't think I'm excited by a single player that we've been linked with so far. Not a single one. And I don't have a problem with that. I would be happy if all of the leaks that come out of the club stop and we start getting some quality players over the line quickly. Because it seems like the leaks that have come out of the club have started to slow down since a certain technical director has left. And I'll be happy if certain outlets are just like the same again and again, and like trying to rehash old news. I'll be absolutely fine with it, to be honest, mate. I'll be absolutely fine with it. So,
shout out to Muttley. Apart from the owners, the ground, manager, and players, it's all going very well.
Yeah, very
it most
good,
certainly is. Shout out to Muttley. Kevin says, James, are you worried for next season? I am. I'm not going to lie. I need to see spend this summer. I need to see quality this summer. I need to see a vibe in the pre-season. And you know what? Last pre-season, I'll never forget it. I watched 2 games in America. Like Lucas was at one of them, and I was covering it from here. And I remember watching them games against Crystal Palace and Wolves, I think it was. And I said to Lucas, I said, something's not right here. This doesn't seem like it's clicking. And every time, like with Lopetegui, when he was on the touchline, he was going berserk all the time because his point wasn't getting across. I just hope we don't have the same situation with Potter. Like whoever he brings in, it doesn't click straight away, because I think it needs to. It really does. What we got with Spurs? Interesting, Alvarez. Can you see us going for a swap with Basuma? I don't want to deal with Tottenham. Would you have Basuma at West Ham?
Not really. Like I don't really care about Basuma. Like he's all right, but. I agree with the comment. I don't want to deal with Spurs either. And I think the days of us dealing with Spurs are long gone. Unless they come in and bid crazy money for either, unless they bid Kudus' release clause or they bid crazy money for Alvarez. I don't see us like selling either of those to Tottenham. So I completely agree with that comment. I wouldn't want to deal with Spurs either.
There's one player that I would have. Wouldn't cost a lot of money in the Championship. Plays for Middlesbrough. Hayden Hackney. He's one lad that I've monitored for a little while. Young, I think he's from Scotland way, or he's up near Perth. I think he is. Well, I'm not sure if he's Scottish or English, but he's a very technically good player. I think he's wasted at Borough. I think if Borough don't come up this year, I think they're going to start losing some of their players. I think Hackney would be a good shout, for our midfield. He's technically very good. He plays with the ball to feet, like he's one of the ball playing sort of midfielders, and he's young, and that's what we're after. We're after young and hungry players, apparently. So yeah,
tell us about Michael Carrick and how he's going to be West Ham's next manager.
Do you know what? The Championship's such an hard league to get out of, though, Joe.
Yeah.
When you look at Coventry have got no real standout quality players, so to speak. So no one goes, "Wow, look at that player who's playing for Coventry," but they've got a good team morale. And I think it works both ways. You've either got a good team morale, or you've got a bunch of individuals. And I think with Borough, they've got a few good individuals there, but they haven't really got the team morale to get them over the line. Do you know what I'm saying? And that's where the problem is. I think Carrick. It'd be interesting to see how Carrick does, because like next season he'd be massively under pressure, because if he don't get it right then, I think he's gone. Let's get to his question here. Question is, will we be going for cheap, unknown young players, which is what Potter's normally aims for? If so, will we need much money?
This is a good point. To be fair, that is what Macaulay and Potter have done really well out of. You look at the names that they brought into that Brighton side and what they then sold them for. They brought in some crazy players and had them playing really well. So I'd have no issue if they've done it before. We've got to put some trust in them as knowing how to build a squad. I got no problem if they go and pick out a bunch of nobodies. There's all these names that we're getting linked with in the European leagues for like 10 to 15 million. If they manage to pluck a few of those out and end up being really good, no problem at all, mate. No problem at all.
Bring me a Mega from Strasbourg.
I like him.
Yeah, Dutch under 21 international. I know Strasbourg are sort of part owned with Chelsea, or they do that sort of thing with like the two clubs merge with players and everything. But I don't think Chelsea are going after him. I think Chelsea are going after people like Liam Delap and things like that. Go and get a Mega. Like, quality little player he is. And he's a sort of another one that I'll be looking at. Like, I think when we start seeing the transfers coming in, then people might feel a bit at ease to see where we're going to land. Obviously, the pre-season's massive. Like the pre-season is like genuinely massive this time, because like I just hope he can kick into gear straight away, if I'm being honest. What we got here? Spurs will have a new manager next season, so their transfer tags will change during the summer. Yeah, which mate about Owen being told he's no longer required next season, mate?
Has that been said to
as good as
yeah. Mate, I'd said at the start of the season, you give me a trophy in 17th, I'll be all over it. I'd rip your arm off for it. Yeah, it's a funny old game, isn't it? It's a funny old game. He came there to win. That's what he does. He wins stuff in his second year, and he's going to get the boot. Like, yeah, I think if they don't win something, yes, like I can see why. But yeah, it's a funny old game. I say sign him up, lifetime contract if it's going to keep Spurs down there forever. But
fair enough. What do you make of the old Banzuzi going to Leipzig, the player we missed out on, Dutch player?
Yeah, I don't know. It's an odd one, isn't it? There must be more to that as to why we didn't just pay the slightly more money that I think someone just mentioned in cash. Richard said in chat, sorry, that we didn't pay the like couple mil more. There's more to it. We probably were a bit worried about PSR, or we were probably just keeping Sullivan was keeping his hands in his pocket, wasn't he? But I don't. It's an odd one, mate. There must be more to it.
Do you know, before we ran this video up, what is it that you're expecting from Sullivan this summer? Because this is where people get a bit nervous. Like with me, I'm more with Sullivan. I know what's coming with him. Yeah, so I'm just bracing myself for like the shit he's going to come out with. What are you expecting from Sullivan this window, mate?
I'm expecting a lot of nonsense. I'm expecting a lot of stupidity. I'm expecting a lot of stories to come out, like where we've done something stupid and we've messed up an opportunity to sign someone because we've tried to nick him off the club and we've disrespected the club. You'll go back to William Carvalho at what's their name in Portugal? And
Lisbon.
Lisbon, that's the one. Yeah, some crazy stuff like that again with Sullivan at the wheel. He's got no capability of like getting a deal over the line quickly, and we need to get deals over the line quickly. So yeah, I'm expecting it to be a long summer, mate. I'm going to try and switch off from transfer rumors, and I'll get excited about a player once I've seen him play for West Ham, as opposed to when I hear a rumor. And I think I'll have a much more peaceful summer personally.
I don't mind the transfer window because it is interesting to see what players we get linked with. I just want all I'm asking for this window is just nail the targets down. Like if Potter's got 5 targets in his notebook right now, where he's looking at in the summer and going, right, I want him, and him. West Ham have to go and get them, and Sullivan can't be penny pinching on this one. He needs to go out and just if a club want $1 million more, pay the $1 million, get the player here. Yeah, because it benefits us down the road. I don't want to see Dominic Calvert-Lewin here. I'm going to be honest, like because that would be typical West Ham. We go out and get a centre forward, and then we bring Dominic Calvert-Lewin as a backup or something stupid like that.
So, I was going to say, here's my question: if we went and got a marquee striker signing, someone who's like 24, has been a certified bagsman across Europe or something like that, but we lose all 4 of our strikers, would you take either Calvert-Lewin or Callum Wilson on a 1-year contract? Just
I can't, mate. Right? I can't. I'd rather go into the Championship and get a young up and coming striker. I really would, like, because with Calvert-Lewin, first of all, his fashion sense is shit. So that's a start. His fashion sense is absolutely horrendous. Second of all, would he be fit? Like, do you know what I'm saying? And like, we can't have one thing we've got to learn with, and we've been lucky really because we haven't really lost Jared Bowen for a long period of time. Like we've lost him for about 6 weeks at best, I think, in stages. Like, but our sort of injury record's been actually pretty good. Do you know what I'm saying? With like long-term injuries, so to speak. So like if you're going to start afresh, you go after someone young and up and coming. Do you know what I'm saying? Like Imega, he's out there. Right, he's over in Strasbourg. You can probably get him for about 25 to 30 mil. Go and get him. Do you know what I mean? The French league. Someone said to me, the French league's the best league to go into for talent because there's so many players over there that are up and coming players. And you know, even who's the Leon player that you got sort of apparently looked like? Do you know what I mean? From our
fuck Mr. you, Mike Fury.
Yeah, from Mike Fury.
Ryan Chekri.
Yeah,
I don't want him near my club just because Mike Fury's going to fucking roast me. But I just don't want to deal with it.
Yeah, anyone go and Google him. You know what I mean? Gotta get your words out. Anything else you want to add on, Jay, before we make a move?
Good luck to us at the Amex. Good luck to anyone who's making the journey. Tough trip to do that. It's going to be. Yes, science analysis. Chekri's a BTEC J. Go on, lads. Big up my fans. Good luck to anyone who's making the journey. It's a tough journey to do. End of the season, you're feeling lethargic, but our fans will shine through, and we'll always go and follow the lads. So, good luck to you making the journey. I'll be on a golf course having my phone buzz every time we concede. So, look forward to that.
Yeah, it's one of them ones, isn't it? Right, that's enough from us. Smash like on the video. Subscribe to E20 Zone TV, hit notification bell. Let me know what you think in the comment section below after this video is done. Let me know if you agree or disagree on anything. Give me your thoughts. Give me your thoughts and how you feel in regards to West Ham at the minute. I see a lot of people very, very concerned, very, very worried, and I can understand it. I really can. I remember saying this a long time ago. Sullivan's the problem. He always will be the problem. And this summer, we've got to trust him, which is mad. We've literally got to sit there and we've got to trust this geezer to do the right thing. And I really hope he does. Do you know what I'm saying? But we will see. We will see. Brighton, I will be doing the preview on the Brighton game. I'm going to give the boys time to rest and relax and do what they want to do. I will cover it on my own. And that's that. This is this. And we're out of here. Bish, bash, bosh. What a picture. See you later.